What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. This series was inspired by the brilliant Roll for Sandwich, though I feel like maybe I can stop saying that in the intro now. Anyway, first up, let's roll for bowl. 9. Honey Bowl. I bought this bowl from Lake Lismore Pottery on Etsy. It's a beautiful and whimsical honey bowl that's probably my second favorite bowl now behind the spilt milk one. Next up, time to roll for cereal. 5. Flavored Cheerios. So Cheerios date back to 1941 when they were first released by General Mills and called Cheery Oats at the time. Over the years, they've had countless different flavors and varieties. Some stick around and some are just limited seasonal flavors. Right now, the only full box I have in the house is this chocolate strawberry limited edition variety. They've released this flavor around Valentine's Day the past couple of years. It's a great flavor combination. I really like it. Alright, let's see what we'll be adding to this as we roll for wild cards. 3. Roll for candy, and 7. Roll for odds and ends. Let's tackle roll for candy first and see what we get here. 5. Gummy bears. Okay, not the worst addition to a bowl of sweet cereal. If the milk is too cold, it can make the gummy bears harder and tough to chew. Let's hope they stay soft. Next up, odds and ends. It's a category for ingredients or toppings that don't really fit in any other category. Let's roll the d12 and see what we get. 1. Ice cubes. People told me to add ice cubes to the list as a way to make the milk colder without putting it in the freezer. Apparently ice cubes in cereal is a trend the young kids are doing. I don't know, I'm a bit suspicious, but we'll give it a try. Next up, we have to roll for drizzle. 20. None. I'm not a huge fan of sauces and syrup, so I'm happy with no drizzle for this bowl. Let's move on to our last ingredient now. Roll for milk. 1. Water.
We ain't even got no milk. You better put some water on that damn shit.
This is the second time I've rolled water. Last time back in episode 6, it was pretty horrible. Let's hope this one is better. But before we pour it, I gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching tunes today. Saturday morning cartoons it is. Let's see what the dice gods picked for us today. 7. Beetlejuice. This cartoon was based on the popular Beetlejuice movie that came out in 1988. The cartoon premiered the following year on ABC's Saturday morning cartoon block. It was very similar to the movie, with Lydia Dietz and Beetlejuice getting into adventures in the Netherworld and the regular world too. Unfortunately, Michael Keaton did not do the voice for the cartoon. Alright, let's add this water to the bowl in moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? Meh, to no one's surprise, this one isn't great. An oat cereal like Cheerios should be eaten with something creamy, not water. The ice cubes make the cereal and water cold, which I don't hate, but they also make the gummy bears hard to chew. Between them and the cubes, you might chip a tooth. I'm gonna give this bowl 1 star and we'll call it Drowning Bears. It's like the Titanic hit an iceberg, tossed the bears overboard into the cold water where they're struggling to grab a bunch of life preservers to stay afloat. I gotta say though, this ice cold chocolatey fruity water is actually kinda tasty. Because of that, I'm going to add another star and bump this one up to 2 stars. It's definitely not the worst bowl of cereal I've ever eaten, but I also wouldn't recommend it. Okay, hopefully we'll have better luck next Friday. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series inspired by Roll for Sandwich, where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. A little under the weather today, so apologies for the slightly nasal tone of my voice, but let's get things started with Roll for Bowl. 11. Our Name is Mud. We'll use the blue complimentary cereal bowl today from the ceramic company called Our Name is Mud. Next up, we have the star of the show. Time to roll for cereal. 7. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. One of my favorites. So this cereal was released by General Mills back in 1984. The original mascots were 3 bakers, Wendell, Quello, and Bob. But in 1991, they dropped 2 of the bakers, leaving Wendell as the sole mascot until around 2009, when he was kicked to the curb for the underwhelming Crazy Squares. The cereal consists of little squares made up of wheat and rice flour, dusted in a delicious cinnamon sugar coating. Next up, time to roll for 2 wild cards. 3. Roll for candy, and 4. Roll for cookies. Let's do roll for cookies first and see what we get here. 3. Fig Newtons. A cookie is just a cookie, but Newtons are fruit and cake. My favorites are strawberry Newtons, but I have these regular Fig Newtons here. I'll use 2 of them and break them into tiny pieces. Next up, let's roll for candy. 7. Gushers. I don't know why my pack of Gushers has French writing on the wrapper, but for those who don't know, this is a fruit snack with a fruity liquid center. There's 6 Gushers in a pack here. This is a weird flavor combination so far. Let's see if things improve with roll for drizzle. 9. Orange marmalade. Another weird flavor to add to this bowl. This orange marmalade syrup is from a company called Syrup that makes cereal syrups. Okay, can't get much weirder. Let's roll for milk. 8. Good old almond milk. Probably one of the safer options here. As always, I use the unsweetened, original flavored almond milk. But before we pour, let's see if we'll be listening to tunes today or watching tunes. Cartoons it is. Let's break out the D30 and see what we get. 25, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. So this was the cartoon spin-off of the popular Bill and Ted movie that came out in 1989. The cartoon first aired on Saturday mornings on CBS in the fall of 1990. Produced by Hanna-Barbera, this first season actually featured the voices of Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, and George Carlin himself. It was a fun cartoon that ran for 2 seasons before it was canceled. Okay, let's hit this crazy concoction with some almond milk and moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? Hold on a second, that wasn't supposed to happen. Let's try that again. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? So it's definitely a weird flavor combination, but it's not horrible. The Fig Newtons actually go surprisingly well with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and the orange marmalade is a nice citrusy touch. The outlier here is the Gushers. The cold milk makes them kind of hard and tough to chew, and every once in a while you get a weird burst of fruit flavor that doesn't really complement the cereal. So I'm going to give this one 3.5 stars, and we'll call it Kitchen Sink Toast Crunch, because it feels like we threw every weird flavor and texture into this bowl. It was a bit of a mismatch, but these are the ones that can lead to a pleasant surprise from time to time. Not exactly the healthy chicken soup that my sick body is craving right now. Hey, maybe I should roll for soup. Anyway, until I see you next Friday, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series inspired by Roll for Sandwich, where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Still a bit of a head cold, so apologies for the voice, but let's get things started with Roll for Bowl. 8. Ramen bowl. So people love this bowl. It's fun to eat cereal out of. We'll remove the chopsticks, but I'll keep the spoon, and this will be the closest I ever get to rolling for spoons, so you can stop asking about that. Next up, time to roll for cereal. 1. Sweet Dreams. So Sweet Dreams is essentially the Great Grain cereal from Post, just rebranded and marketed as a cereal that'll help you get some healthy sleep. It's crispy flakes made of wheat and rice, almonds, and oat clusters. There's a blueberry version too. They've added lavender and chamomile for sleep, but you can barely taste those flavors. Okay, let's roll 2 D12s for wild cards now. 1 roll for savory and 9 roll for dried fruit. First time we've rolled either of those. Let's start with savory. Not a lot of good options here. 1 crickets. So roasted insects can be a good source of protein. A lot of people in the world eat them. I am not one of those people. These roasted crickets are seasoned with jalapeno garlic flavoring. We're just gonna add a few of them here. Okay, now let's roll for freeze-dried fruit. 2 peaches. I love sweet yellow peaches, and freeze-dried ones can be a nice addition to cereals, but I'm still hung up on the crickets. Not sure the peaches are really gonna help with this one. Alright, now let's roll for drizzle. 8. Peach. Peach drizzle with freeze-dried peaches would normally be a great cohesive combo, but again, we still have those crickets. Anyway, I'm gonna put extra drizzle on this to try to drown out the bugs. Lastly, now it's time to roll for milk. 7. Cow's milk. I feel like we've gotten this in almond milk the most. I use lactose-free cow's milk from Kroger, but before we pour it, let's see if we'll be listening to tunes today or watching tunes. Music it is. Break out the D30 now and let's roll for music. 1. Naughty by Nature. From East Orange, New Jersey, Naughty by Nature is a trio of Tretch, Vinrock, and DJ KG. They were originally called The New Style, but then they changed their name, released this self-titled album on Tommy Boy in 1991, and it became an instant classic with hits like OPP, which stands for Other People's Property. Yeah, let's just say property. Okay, let's hit this bowl with some milk, and now moment of truth. Do these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? So here's the thing. If I was eating this bowl with my eyes closed, it's actually pretty tasty. Almost like a peach version of Special K with almonds, and the jalapeno garlic seasoning on the crickets adds an interesting spice or bite to the cereal. You can't even tell they're there. But we eat with our eyes too, right? And it's really hard to look down and see a bunch of bugs floating in the milk. Makes it very unappetizing. So I'm gonna give this bowl 1.5 stars, and we'll call it Don't Let the Peach Bugs Bite. And as far as Sweet Dreams cereal goes, well, if you're looking for something cereal related to help you relax before bed, I suggest the Empty Bowl podcast, hosted by my friends Justin and Dan, a soothing meditative podcast about cereal. Hopefully next week we can avoid those savory ingredients. I think I got a cricket stuck in my teeth. Until next Friday, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series inspired by Roll for Sandwich, where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Finally feeling better? Happy Friday. Let's get things started with Roll for Bowl. 4. Disposable. I know there'll be some unhappy people here seeing this bowl make its return. We've had it a few times now, just a simple compostable bowl. Moving on now to the star of the show, let's roll for cereal. Another 4, Mickey Mouse Club. Not Mickey Mouse Magic Crunch cereal you saw there on the wall. This Mickey-themed cereal we've rolled before, but this time it comes in a new special edition metal tin with the special edition Mickey Mouse Club box inside. This Post cereal was released this year to celebrate the 100-year Disney anniversary. It consists of birthday cake-flavored corn puffs, and it's not too bad. Next up, time to roll for wild cards. 8 fresh fruit, and 8 again, double 8s. That's a first. All right, let's see what 2 fruits we'll be adding to this bowl. First up is 4 strawberries. Those should be a good addition. Let's see what we get for our second fruit. 2 pineapple. Might be a weird addition to cereal with its high acidity, but let's take some strawberries and pineapples and we'll cut them up into tinier pieces. So far, nothing too scary or offensive here. Next up, time to roll for drizzle. 19 honey. So we've rolled honey a few times in the past. As far as drizzles go, it's probably one of the least risky options. Just adds a nice sweetness to your cereal. Last ingredient now, let's roll for milk. 6 oat milk. I like oat milk. It has a nice creaminess to it. This is the original unsweetened version from Simple Truth, but before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching tunes today while eating this bowl. Music it is. Let's break out the D30 and see what we get here. 11, Audio 2. So this classic rap duo from Brooklyn consisted of 2 brothers, Milk D, the MC, and Gizmo, the DJ. They released their debut single called Make It Funky in 1987, but it was the B-side of that record called Top Billin' that became their breakout hit. Their debut album, What More Can I Say, came out a year later, but unfortunately they'd never be able to capture the success of that first hit single. Alright, let's hit this bowl with some oat milk and moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? Yep, this one's pretty good. Second time we've had a delicious combo here with this Mickey Mouse Club cereal. I was worried about the fresh pineapple, but it's actually pretty refreshing and pairs well with the birthday cake flavor. The honey and berries add some more sweetness. I feel like there's something missing here, just can't figure out what it is. But I'm gonna give this one 4.5 stars and we'll call it pineapple upside down cake. Maybe with a different drizzle it would have been 5 stars. Anyway, friendly reminder that you can go to spotify.cerealtime.tv or applemusic.cerealtime.tv for playlists of all the music we've listened to here on Roll for Cereal. At some point I hope to get back to posting twice a week, but not yet, so I'll see you next Friday. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series inspired by Roll for Sandwich, where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Cinco de Mayo and happy Friday. Let's get things started with Roll for Bowl. 5, Silipint Bowl. First time we've rolled this, Silipint is the name of the company that makes these fun, squishy silicone products that come in a bunch of different designs. I have this cool blue-green tie-dyed version. It's not a huge bowl, but it'll do the trick. Next up, time to roll for cereal. 2, Mint Oreo O's. So Post released the original Oreo O's way back in 1997. This popular Oreo-inspired cereal was discontinued here in 2007, but continued to be sold in South Korea. And while Post would reintroduce the cereal here in the US in 2017, it's been going strong in South Korea with a handful of varieties over the years. This new variety is a chocolate mint version of the cereal with marshmallows. Okay, moving on. Next up, time to roll for wild cards. 4, roll for cookies, and 11, extra roll. So we keep the 4 for cookies, but extra roll means we take the 11, add another die, and then roll those 2 dice again. 7, roll for odds and ends, and 12, player's choice. I'm gonna use this player's choice to roll for another odds and ends, so we'll have 2 from that list. But first we have to go back and roll for those cookies. 2, Chips Ahoy. I have this little cup of mini Chips Ahoy. I think Oreos are the superior cookie, but cookies on cookies is not a bad way to start things off here. Let's move on to odds and ends now and roll the first die. 10, chocolate shavings. We've rolled this a couple times now, getting down to the last piece of this Lindt chocolate bar that I have, but adding chocolate to this bowl of cereal seems like a good mix. Let's roll for another odds and ends. 3, space ice cream. The freeze-dried space ice cream I have comes in 3 flavors, and one of those flavors is mint chocolate chips, so this is really shaping up to be a cohesive bowl of cereal. I'll break up the freeze-dried ice cream into smaller bits, and now let's move on to roll for drizzle. 16, marshmallow. Okay, definitely one of the better options, especially with this bowl that already has some Marbits. This Smucker's marshmallow sauce also goes great on ice cream. Okay, last ingredient now, time to roll for milk. 4, chocolate milk. Yes, we are rolling today. Thank you, Dice Gods. This will be a great milk for this chocolatey bowl of cereal, but before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching tunes today. Cartoons it is. Let's break out the D30 and see what we get here. 28, Ewoks. So Ewoks was one of the 2 Star Wars cartoons released by Lucasfilm in 1985 and aired during ABC's Saturday morning cartoon block. The other was called Droids. Ewoks featured the furry Ewoks from Return of the Jedi getting into adventures on their home, the forest moon of Endor, and the show aired for 2 seasons. Okay, let's hit this bowl with some chocolate milk and moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? Yes, absolutely yes. We got really lucky with these rolls today. Mint chocolate cereal with mint chocolate freeze-dried ice cream, chocolate shavings, marshmallow sauce, and chocolate milk. This is just a perfect combo. The only thing that feels out of place are the Chips Ahoy cookies, but even though they don't add anything, they don't take anything away either. I'm gonna give this bowl 5 stars and we'll simply call it Mint Chocolate Deluxe. I'm a huge fan of mint chocolate flavors, and if we had rolled Thin Mints instead of Chips Ahoy, this might have actually been 6 stars, but just a great bowl of cereal here. Next week, I'm gonna make a few slight tweaks that will allow for more cereal options and streamline the Toons or Toons roll. But for now, I'm gonna go watch some Ewoks. So until I see you next Friday, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series inspired by Roll for Sandwich, where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. You'll notice a few changes today, but let's get things started with Roll for Bowl. 6. Cereal Time Bowl. This is a personalized small cereal time bowl I was sent from one of the cereal companies a few years back. And now for our first change, we're going to roll to see what kind of cereal we get. 4 options here: Kellogg's, General Mills, Post and Quaker, or Healthy, which is pulled from all brands. Let's see what we get here. 4, that's going to be General Mills. So now we have 8 General Mills options here. Let's roll for cereal. 6. Flavored Cheerios. So last time we rolled flavored Cheerios, I had strawberry and chocolate Cheerios, but I finished that box, so today we have a new flavor, Frosted Lemon Cheerios. This is a limited edition box that you should see in stores right now. They have a sweet and tart lemon flavor to them, kind of like a lemon meringue pie. Highly recommend. Okay, next up we're going to roll for wild cards. 7, roll for odds and ends, and 9, roll for dried fruit. Alright, let's tackle odds and ends first. 12, cereal Marbits. I have these Lucky Charms marshmallows that they sell in packs, and you can add them to your favorite cereal. This is kind of like lemon Lucky Charms right now. Alright, let's roll for freeze-dried fruit and see what we get. 8, blueberries. I have these freeze-dried blueberries from Trader Joe's. Blueberries are actually a great pairing for a tart lemon flavor. There's a blueberry and lemon Special K that I really like. Alright, next up, let's roll for drizzle. 7, apple cinnamon. Okay, could be a lot worse. This is a cereal syrup from Syrup. We have a lot of different fruit flavors going on here in this bowl. And for milk now, we have 6 options that will stay pretty consistent, so I don't have to buy tons of different milks. 4, oat milk. Oat milk is great with an oat cereal like Cheerios, but before we pour it, we have one final roll. This might be divisive, but I've combined Toons and Toons into one list. The odd numbers will be Saturday morning cartoons, and the even numbers will be listening to music. Let's see what we get here. 8, the Alcoholics. This hip-hop trio from Los Angeles consists of MCs J-Ro and Tash and DJ E Swift. Their debut album 21 and Over was released in 1993 on Loud Records. They were one of the first groups signed to Steve Rifkin's label that would shortly after release the first Wu-Tang album. The biggest song of this debut album was Make Room, one of my favorite tracks of all times from the Licks. Okay, let's hit this bowl with some oat milk now, and moment of truth, will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? Yeah, this one is pretty good. The tart lemon Cheerios go great with the dried blueberries and the cereal marshmallows. Like I said, it's like a lemony version of Lucky Charms. The apple cinnamon syrup is the only thing that takes this down a peg. It's great on apple or cinnamon flavored cereals, but kind of competes with the other flavors here. I'm gonna give this bowl 4 stars, and I'll call it Spiced Apple Lemon Charms. If I would have rolled blueberry drizzle on this bowl, it would have definitely been 5 stars. Oh well, we keep rolling and seeing what combos the dice gods present us with. Always a fun adventure. I'm gonna go listen to this Alcoholics album and add Make Room to the Roll for Cereal playlist. Until I see you next Friday, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series inspired by Roll for Sandwich, where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Friday, let's get things started as always with Roll for Bowl. 1, milk first, roll again. So for all you sociopaths who pour milk before the cereal, I'm sure you're happy about this, but we still need to roll for a bowl to pour that milk into. 10, Color Me Mine bowl. This is a cereal-inspired bowl that I made at a local Color Me Mine DIY ceramic shop. Okay, now let's see what milk we'll be pouring first into this bowl. 6, cow's milk. I have this lactose-free milk, which, yes, despite some comments, is still cow's milk, though fat-free milk is a little too thin for me. I'll have to pick up some whole or 2% next time. How do you even know how much milk to pour in the bowl first? This just feels wrong. Alright, let's see what type of cereal we'll be adding to this bowl of milk. 3, Kellogg's. Alright, we have 8 options for Kellogg's. Let's roll for cereal. 5. Fruit Loops. So Fruit Loops were introduced by Kellogg's back in 1963, originally only in red, orange, and yellow loops. Toucan Sam has been the mascot from the jump. Unfortunately, I don't have a fresh box of Fruit Loops in the house. However, I do have a box of the new Mega Mix-Up Fruit Loops, so we'll use that today. This variety is just regular Fruit Loops with some larger loops mixed in, though to be honest, there's not many large loops in there, so it's basically just regular Fruit Loops. Okay, let's see what we're adding to it as we roll for wild cards. 4, roll for cookies, and 9, roll for dried fruit. Feel like we get these 2 wild cards a lot. First up, we got roll for cookies. 1, fortune cookie. I have this one from Panda Express. Let's crack it open, see what my fortune is. Success and wealth are in your future. If only fortune cookies actually came true. They're kind of bland, so it shouldn't negatively affect this cereal too much. Next up, we have to roll for freeze-dried fruit. 7, bananas. Okay, so bananas shouldn't be too bad with a citrusy, fruity cereal like Fruit Loops. It's weird knowing there's a big bowl of milk under that cereal. Anyway, next up we have to roll for drizzle. 3, balsamic glaze. I don't know about this one. This Trader Joe's balsamic glaze has a sweet and tangy grape fig taste to it. It's great on some grilled chicken or a caprese salad, but a bowl of Fruit Loops, I'm not sure. We've already got the milk under there, so the only thing left to do is see if we'll be listening to music or watching cartoons today. 16, NWA. NWA was a group from Compton, California, consisting of Eazy-E, Ice Cube, MC Ren, Dr. Dre, and DJ Yella, and maybe Arabian Prince. Their debut album, Straight Outta Compton, came out in 1988, and it was a massive hit. If you don't know NWA, you should go watch the movie or something. Okay, moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? So first off, I don't like the fact that I have to dunk all the dry cereal down into the milk. Flavor-wise, it's a little weird, but it's not the balsamic's fault. It's actually the bananas that I'm surprised don't go well with the Fruit Loops. The fortune cookie is a non-factor, and the balsamic glaze adds an interesting flavor to the Fruit Loops. Definitely not a great bowl, but better than I thought it would be. I'm gonna give it 3 stars, and I'll call it Fortune Favors the Glaze. I think without the bananas, it would have gotten an extra star. But look how much milk is left here after eating the cereal. Am I doing it wrong? Are you supposed to add more cereal if there's leftover milk? I'll stick to cereal first, like the majority of us cereal eaters. Alright, well, it's back off to the picket lines. Honk in support if you drive by. Until next Friday, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series inspired by Roll for Sandwich, where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Friday. We're going digital with the list now. It makes it easier for me to swap between them, but more importantly, printer ink ain't cheap, and this way I can add or remove items without having to waste paper and ink each time. Let's start off with Roll for Bowl. 7, Cheerios bowl. I got this bowl a couple years ago from General Mills. It's almost like a big Cheerios coffee mug with the handle on the side. Next up, let's roll for what type of cereal. We have Post and Quaker, Kellogg's, General Mills, and then all other brands. 4, General Mills. And now we have 8 General Mills options here, including a handful of their new cereals that have recently been released. 7, Kit Kat cereal. This isn't the first time Hershey's and General Mills have teamed up. They had a Cookies and Cream and a Hershey's Kisses cereal, so it only makes sense they'd try a Kit Kat cereal at some point. This chocolatey cereal kind of resembles the Kit Kat bars. Who remembers that classic Kit Kat jingle?
Give me a break, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Alright, now it's time to roll for wild cards. 11, none, and 10, prize inside. So for those of you who are new here, Prize Inside is a small cereal box containing cards, prizes if you will. But just like prizes used to get in cereal boxes, some are good, some are bad, and some are just neutral. Each card features a different original character that cereal heads will recognize as references to classic cereal mascots. Each character gives us a task or a unique ability. We'll draw one card and follow the instructions. This is the bear, and it says we have to roll for sandwich using episodes 1 through 100, and it must be played at the start of next turn, which means next episode will pay tribute to Roll for Sandwich and actually construct one of Jake's classic sandwiches instead of rolling for cereal. For now, the card will sit here until next video, and then it will be destroyed, never to be drawn again. Pretty neutral card, all things considered, but now we have to get back to this bowl of cereal, awaiting more ingredients. And that second wild card was none, so no toppings today, and we move on to roll for drizzle. 4, coffee. So I don't like or drink coffee, but I don't mind coffee flavored things like coffee ice cream. And coffee and chocolate go great together, especially in this oversized coffee mug, so I'm not complaining here. Last ingredient now, we have to roll for milk. 3, macadamia milk. This milk comes from a company called Milkadamia, and I've never had this particular kind of nut milk before, so I'm interested to try it. But before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes today or watching cartoons. 1. Dink the Little Dinosaur. This series aired on CBS Saturday morning cartoon lineup started in 1989. It follows Dink, a dinosaur, and his 4 friends as they explore and have adventures in a volcanic place called Green Meadow. This cartoon was all about teaching kids important life lessons like tolerance, ecology, and teamwork. It ran for 2 seasons. Okay, let's hit this bowl with some macadamia nut milk and moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? Well, there aren't a lot of ingredients in this bowl today, and they all blend together really nicely. Kit Kat cereal is just your generic chocolatey cereal, nothing special, but the coffee syrup really helps make it unique. And macadamia milk has a pleasant smoothness to it, almost a slightly fruity undertone as well. So I'm gonna give this 4 stars and we'll call it Mocha Hero Macadamia. Not quite 5 stars because the Kit Kat cereal is kinda underwhelming, but still a decent bowl. And the after milk is pretty tasty too. Well, I'm excited to see what sandwich we get next time with that bear card, but for now I'm gonna go watch some more Dink the Little Dinosaur episodes on YouTube. Might go back to posting twice a week. Until next time, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. But today there's no cereal and it's a little different. Last episode we rolled Prize Inside and pulled the bear card. This card requires us to construct a sandwich from the amazing Roll for Sandwich series that started this whole trend. It's a fun way to honor Jake and what he created. Let's hope it's not a terrible sandwich. To choose which one we're making today, we have to roll to see which episode number we get. 20 and 3, so 23 like Michael Jordan. Let's scroll through the Roll for Sandwich episodes until we get down to 23, which would be a lot easier if these weren't numbered in reverse order. Okay, here we go, episode 23. Let's see what Jake rolls for our bread today. 3 waffles. So he had chocolate chip waffles, and I'll use the same flavor. Some of these ingredients I have on hand, others I have to go buy, including these Eggo waffles. Let's get them toasted. There you go, nice and golden brown. Hey, Lego my Eggo. Up next, let's see what he rolls for Maine. Another 3, salami. I actually had salami in the fridge already, so this was perfect. Salami is one of my favorite types of cured meats. The saltiness might go well with the sweet waffles. All right, next up we have to roll for cheese. 5, Munster. So as some of you know, I'm lactose intolerant, so the only cheese we have in the house is stuff my wife likes, and Munster is not on that list. I'm not super familiar with the cheese types, but I've heard this one is mild and creamy. I'm only gonna use 1 slice here. Next up, let's see what he rolls for roughage. 1, lettuce. I have some romaine in the fridge, so this was easy, and lettuce is a great topping to any sandwich. This was back when he was only rolling 1 dice for roughage. Alright, let's see what he rolls for wild magic. 9, everything but the bagel seasoning. This is a seasoning mix from Trader Joe's. My wife loves this stuff, so we always have some on hand in the pantry. Shouldn't be too bad with these ingredients. Last up now, time to see what the sauce roll gives us. Another 9, HP sauce. This I did not have on hand. It's a sauce from the UK that my British sister-in-law describes as tangy, slightly sour, tomatoey sauce. I asked her if it was like A1 steak sauce, but she had no idea what that was. All right, let's get this sandwich closed up now, and I don't have any fancy toothpicks, unfortunately, but these should do the trick. And since TikTok sometimes doesn't like cutting utensils, let me just chop this in half myself. There we go, let's take a look at that cross-section. Not too bad, but do these ingredients come together to create a great sandwich? Well, let's find out. I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised by this combo. Jake rated this 9 out of 10, and I was very skeptical, but the sweetness of the waffles, the saltiness of the meat and cheese, and the tanginess of the sauce all go together really well. If I had to rate this, I would give it 4 stars, and since Jake wasn't naming the sandwiches yet, that means I get to name this sandwich, and I'll call it Lego My Salami. If you've never watched Roll for Sandwich, please go do that. It's a lot of fun, and Roll for Cereal wouldn't exist without it. This turned out to be a pretty tasty lunch, no complaints from me. The bear card did not curse us with anything gross, and now that he's done his job, he can go away forever. Next episode, we're back to rolling for cereal. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Friday, gonna try to get back to posting on Tuesdays and Fridays. Let's get it started with Roll for Bowl. 6, Darth Vader Bowl. So this bowl was given to me as a going away gift on my last day in the House of the Dragon writer's room. It's technically a candy bowl, but I can eat cereal out of any bowl I choose. Next up, let's see what type of cereal we get today. 1, other brands. So we have 8 options here from brands that are not the big 4 cereal manufacturers. 5, chocolate waffle bites. We got a waffle sandwich last video and now a waffle cereal. Everything's coming up waffles. So this chocolate waffle bites is a new cereal from Kashi, and if it looks familiar, you might be remembering Eggo cereal released by Kellogg's back in 2006, then discontinued in 2012, then brought back again in 2019, then discontinued once again. But the chocolate Eggo cereal is eerily similar to this new Kashi chocolate waffle bites, and since Kashi is a subsidiary of Kellogg's, this is essentially that chocolate Eggo waffle cereal just rebranded under the Kashi label. Okay, time to use 2d12s now to roll for wild cards. 6, roll for nuts, and 11, none. Alright, so just nuts today.
You wanna get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Okay, we got 6 options here. Let's roll for nuts. 1, salted peanuts. Haven't rolled this one in a while. We have some dry roasted salted peanuts. This will add a nice saltiness and extra crunch to the chocolate cereal. Okay, time to roll for drizzle now. Another 6, that's 3 6s today, and we got pumpkin drizzle. This is a sweet pumpkin puree syrup. We haven't gotten this drizzle yet, but it should go really well with the chocolate and peanuts. You know what, let's add a little more here. Can't go wrong with more pumpkin flavor. Last ingredient, now time to roll for milk. 3, cashew milk. So this isn't a milk that I regularly buy. Cashews aren't at the top of my list when it comes to nuts, but maybe this milk is good, who knows. Before we pour it, we have to see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching tunes today. 14, Fugees. So the Fugees are a trio from New Jersey consisting of Wyclef, Lauryn Hill, and Pras. Their debut album, Blunted on Reality, came out back in 1994, and though I really enjoyed it, it wasn't a commercial success. Their sophomore album, The Score, came out in 1996 and won Grammys, went multi-platinum, and made them a household name. The Score is a great album, and listening to it makes you wish they were able to squash personal issues and make another album together. Alright, let's hit this bowl with some cashew milk and Moment of Truth. Let's see if these ingredients come together to make a great bowl of cereal. So these flavors and textures are great. The chocolate waffle bites are not too sweet, but that's okay because the sweetness of the pumpkin syrup really makes up for it, and the salty crunch from the peanuts add a great texture. The cashew milk detracts slightly from the overall tastiness. Maybe if it was sweetened cashew milk it would be better, but I'll give it 4.5 stars, and we'll call this one Pump Anakin's Dark Side Crunch. Pumpkin, Anakin, I don't know, I tried. Some days I'm more creative than others. Almost a 5-star bowl. I feel like with regular milk this would have been bumped up to 5 stars, but maybe next time we'll get a perfect bowl. I'll see you on Tuesday. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Rolling for Cereal. Wait, no, that's not right. Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Tuesday. Let's get things started as always with Roll for Bowl. 4, disposable. It's the dreaded return of the disposable, compostable bowl that so many people seem to hate for some reason. I think it's a fine bowl. Next up, let's see what type of cereal we'll be pouring into this bowl. 3, Kellogg's. Okay, so now we have 8 options of different Kellogg's cereals. Let's see what we get. 2, Cinnabon. So Cinnabon cereal actually had its start way back in 1991 when Kellogg's released Cinnamon Mini Bun cereal. That cereal eventually became Mini Swirls in 2005, and then Mini Swirls became Cinnabon cereal in 2010. Kellogg's discontinued Cinnabon in 2018, but they recently brought it back again and gave the box a makeover. It's still that delicious Cinnabon-inspired cinnamon bun cereal, but for me, nothing is as good as a real Cinnabon. Alright, let's roll for wild cards now. 8 odds and ends, and another 8 odds and ends, double 8s. Let's see what we roll for our first odds and ends topping. 7 graham crackers. Not bad. I have these honey graham crackers here. This would have been clutch if I had cinnamon flavored graham crackers, but the flavors and textures should still go well together. Let's roll for our second odds and ends topping now. 3 whipped cream. So I have this non-dairy coconut whipped cream for my fellow lactose intolerant friends. I like this whipped cream alternative better than the almond milk version. I think that's enough. Alright, now let's roll for drizzle. 14 caramel or caramel. Don't gatekeep how people pronounce that word, but this sweet drizzle should go great with the Cinnabon and whipped cream. Shaping up pretty nicely here. Time for the final ingredient now. Roll for milk. 2 flavored milk. So we have 4 options for flavored milk: chocolate, strawberry, blue, or Pop-Tarts creamer. 1 Pop-Tarts creamer. So I have this brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts non-dairy creamer. Flavor wise this is perfect, but I worry it's going to be way too sweet. Before we find out, let's see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching tunes today. 17 Pro Stars. I love this cartoon back in the day. Pro Stars aired on NBC's Saturday morning cartoon block in the fall of 1991. It featured Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and Bo Jackson as fictional superheroes who fight crime, help kids, and protect the environment. None of the characters were voiced by the real athletes, but they did appear in live action segments before the cartoon. It ran for 13 episodes. Alright, let's pour this brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts creamer and Moment of Truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? Flavor-wise, I really couldn't ask for a better combo. Cinnabon cereal with graham crackers, whipped cream, caramel syrup, and cinnamon creamer. Everything melts together really, really well. But this Pop-Tarts creamer is just too rich and sweet. It's too much. Perhaps I should have diluted it with some real milk. It's still a tasty bowl, so I'm going to give it 4 stars, and we'll call this one the Cinnabomb. If I had swapped out real milk for the creamer, this definitely would have been 5 stars. I gotta drink the remaining creamer too? Ugh, I can feel my blood turning into a thick molasses. Alright, well I'm gonna watch some Pro Stars, one of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons. I'll see you again on Friday. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Friday, let's get this weekend off to a good start. First up, gotta roll for bowl. 12 Spilt Milk Bowl. Doesn't get better than this. Starting off with a top tier silicone spilt milk bowl, my favorite bowl to eat out of. Now let's see what type of cereal we'll be adding today. 2 Post and Quaker. We have a list of 8 options of Post or Quaker Oat cereals. 7 Berry Pebbles. So you know all about Cocoa and Fruity Pebbles, first released by Post way back in 1971, with Fred and Barney as the mascots, and over the years Post has released countless varieties, too many to show you all of them, but recently they hit us with a new version called Berry Pebbles, featuring Wilma, Betty, and Pebbles on the box. Flavor-wise, it's generic berry taste, but not quite as good as the OG Fruity Pebbles. Next up, let's roll for wild cards. 4 Roll for cookies, and 10 Roll for fresh fruit. Alright, let's start by rolling for cookies and see what we get. 8 Cookie dough bites. I love these things. Ben & Jerry's sells these frozen cookie dough bites, and they have a vegan version, which to me tastes just as good as the non-vegan version. These are dangerously addictive. Okay, now it's time to roll for fresh fruit. 5 Blackberries. I've almost finished this container of blackberries. This batch is the perfect level of sweetness and tartness, and it should go great with the berry flavor of the cereal. Okay, now we gotta roll for drizzle and hope it's not a clashing flavor. 8 Peach. Alright, last time we rolled peach was the Crickets, and that was not good, but this peach fruit syrup should go pretty good with the cereal and fresh berries. Last ingredient now, time to roll for milk. 6 Cow's milk. Last time I had fat-free lactate milk, but it was a bit too thin and watery, so now I have 1%, which should be a little creamier. But before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching tunes. 16 Ghostface. So if you've seen my videos before, you know I'm a big Wu-Tang fan. Iron Man was the 5th solo release by a Wu member, and Ghost's debut solo album, released in 1996, is my favorite Ghost solo album of all time. I've had countless debates over the years as to which is better, Iron Man or Supreme Clientele. I prefer Iron Man. There's no right answer, it just depends on your personal taste and preference. But for the record, I've discussed it with RZA, and he agrees with me that it's Iron Man. Okay, time to hit this bowl with some milk, and now moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? Yes, they absolutely do. The blackberries and peach syrup add another layer of fruitiness to the berry pebbles, and those cookie dough bites just help seal the deal. They add a richness with just a hint of chocolate, and all the textures and flavors just come together to create something pretty delicious. No critiques here, this is definitely a 5-star bowl for me, and I'm gonna call this one Blackberry Bedrock. I'm pleasantly surprised by this combo because I don't love the berry pebbles by themselves. I like the name Blackberry Bedrock though, sounds like something Ghost would say. Check out my Blackberry Bedrock Wallabies. Alright, I'm gonna go listen to Iron Man and maybe pour myself another bowl. I'll see you back here on Tuesday. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Tuesday. You'll notice we've expanded the bowl list now with 20 options, and yet still no roll for spoon because that's a silly idea and it'll never be implemented. 18 Honey Bowl. I love this ceramic honeybee inspired bowl from Lake Lismore Pottery on Etsy, one of the better bowls on this list. And now let's see what type of cereal we'll be adding to it. 4 General Mills. We have 8 options from General Mills. Let's roll for cereal. 2 Cookie Crisp. This is a classic cereal released by Ralston back in 1977 and then eventually sold off to General Mills about 20 years later. They've had different varieties over the years and different mascots, but my favorite has always been the OG chocolate chip version, along with the Cookie Crook, the Cookie Cop, and Chip the Dog. Alright, moving on, now time to roll for wild card toppings. 4 roll for cookies, and 6 roll for cereal. Cookies on Cookie Crisp is very appropriate, but before we do that, let's mix in another cereal. 4 another General Mills cereal. Would be fun to get a double Cookie Crisp here, but let's see. 6. Spider-Man. There have been many Spider-Man cereals over the years, the best being the 1995 Ralston version, but this new General Mills cereal is for the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movie, which if you haven't seen yet, I highly recommend. It's great. The cereal is just generic berry-flavored corn puffs with Spider-Man themed marshmallows. Let's pour this over the Cookie Crisp, and then let's make sure the two cereals are mixed together pretty well. Alright, now it's time to see what type of cookie we'll be adding to the mix. 2. Chips Ahoy. Don't think I could have picked a better cookie to pair with this cereal. These mini Chips Ahoy cookies will be right at home with Cookie Crisp. Next up, we got the D20, and it's time to roll for drizzle. 18. Chocolate. Been a while since we've rolled this syrup. Chocolate with the chocolate chip cookies should be pretty tasty. Now we just gotta hope we don't roll Pop-Tarts creamer or none on the roll for milk. 6. Cow's milk. Perfect, nice and safe. I have this 1% lactate milk, but before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching tunes. 13. Dungeons and Dragons, the game that inspired Roll for Sandwich. I assume most of you are familiar with its classic role-playing game. It's been a while since I've done a campaign myself, but I have a faint memory of this cartoon airing Saturday mornings on CBS starting in 1983. The show focused on a group of friends who were transported to a magical realm after taking an amusement park ride. The series featured them trying to find a way home and getting into adventures with the help of the Dungeon Master. It ran for 3 seasons and was pretty good, better than all the D&D movies except for this new one, which I also really enjoyed. Alright, now let's hit this bowl with some milk and moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? I mean, come on, you already know this is a pretty good bowl. Cookie Crisp with some richer chocolate chip cookies mixed in, a little chocolate syrup, and a subtle sweet berry flavor from the Spider-Man cereal. Just a really great combination. I thought the Spidey cereal would detract, but it's a nice addition. No critiques here. This is a 5-star bowl. I'm gonna call it Across the Cookieverse. And again, I know I already said this, but if you haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse, you definitely should go check it out. The animation is great, the story is fun, the voice actors shine, it's just really well done. And now that I'm done with this bowl, I'm gonna go watch some old Dungeons and Dragons episodes on YouTube. I'll see you on Friday. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Friday. Let's keep our streak of good bowls going today. First up, we got a roll for bowl. 6. Silipint Bowl. These are fun tie-dye inspired silicone bowls from a company called Silipint. I like the bright colors and flexible material. Now let's see what type of cereal we'll be trying today. 1. Other brands. So we have 8 options of cereals not from the 4 major cereal manufacturers. 8. Strawberry Lemonade. Okay, so this is a generic Great Value cereal, and as you probably know, Great Value is just the Walmart name brand, so you should be able to find this at your local Walmart. The cereal is just pink and yellow corn puffs, but the flavor is unique, and this is the first strawberry lemonade flavored cereal. It has a fresh sweetness and crisp tartness to it. Next up, let's see what we'll get when we roll for wild cards. 9. Roll for dried fruit, and 12. Player's choice. Alright, so I'm going to resolve the dried fruit roll here before I make my player's choice decision on the second topping. 6. Strawberries. The dice gods are smiling upon us today. These freeze-dried strawberries will go great with this strawberry and lemonade flavored cereal. Great roll there. Now I can pick the second topping. You know what? It might seem controversial, but I'm actually going to go with Tajín. It might feel like a weird choice, but I think that the salty chili lime seasoning will be a good complement to the sweet strawberries and the citrus lemon. Okay, now let's hope we don't ruin it all with roll for drizzle. 9. Orange marmalade. Not bad, not bad. We've gotten this a few times. Orange is a citrus flavor, so it should go well with the lemonade and the lime of the Tajín. Seems pretty good. Let's see what our last ingredient is now as we roll for milk. 5. Almond milk, my favorite milk alternative here. I have an unsweetened almond milk from Trader Joe's, but before we pour it, let's see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching tunes today. 1. Pound Puppies. I've rolled 1 way too many times with this D30, but thankfully these cartoons aren't ranked in any particular order. So Pound Puppies was a cartoon that aired on ABC Saturday morning, starting in 1985. It was based on the popular toy line from Tonka of plush cute little dogs with floppy ears and droopy eyes. My sister had a few of these dolls. The cartoon featured a girl named Holly who had adventures with her talking dog friends, the Pound Puppies. I never actually watched this cartoon, so I have very limited knowledge about it. It aired for 2 seasons, and I think there was a reboot around 2010. Alright, well, let's hit this bowl with some almond milk now and moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? All these flavors blend really well together. The strawberry lemonade cereal is pretty tasty by itself, but the dried strawberries and orange marmalade enhance the sweetness and tartness, and that tahini adds just a little kick of spice to it, which is nice. But something is causing the almond milk to separate a bit, which makes it lose its appeal just a bit. And for that, I'm going to dock it 1 star and give this one 4 stars. I'll call it Spicy Citrus Blast. The flavors are really good, but either the citrus from the tahini or the orange marmalade is almost making the almond milk curdle. It's not real milk, so I guess it can't actually curdle, but maybe someone who knows science can chime in the comments. Okay, well, since I never really watched Pound Puppies, let me go catch up on some of these old episodes. I'll see you on Tuesday. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Tuesday. We've had a good run of bowls recently. Let's keep it going. First up, Roll for Bowl. 13 Smiley Bowl. This is a new one. I don't really know much about this ceramic bowl. It's got a cute little smiley face and some feet. All it needs is a name. Any suggestions? Next up, let's see what brand of cereal we get. 3 Kellogg's. Okay, now we have 8 options from Kellogg's here. Let's roll for cereal. 5 Miraculous. So I didn't know anything about this Miraculous cartoon, but apparently it's about 2 teenage girl superheroes from Paris named Ladybug and Cat Noir. The cereal is supposedly a strawberry macaron flavor, which sounds unique, but it just tastes like a generic strawberry cereal with marshmallows. Okay, let's roll the 2 D12s and see what we get for wild cards. 6 roll for another cereal, and 8 roll for odds and ends. So we gotta add another cereal first, and let's see what brand we get this time. 1 other brand. So again, this is a list of 8 options not from the 4 major cereal manufacturers. 6 Cotton Candy. This should be an interesting pairing. There have been other cotton candy cereals in the past, most notably the Cap'n Crunch variety, but this one here is a great value Walmart generic brand. You can see it resembles the Cap'n Crunch variety, but the flavor of these corn puffs are a little weaker, a little blander than the superior Cap'n one from a few years ago. Let's get these 2 cereals mixed together. Hey, get back in there with your friends. Now we have to add the second topping and roll for odds and ends. 5 Shredded Coconut. I like this topping. It goes well with a lot of cereals. These sweetened coconut flakes should add a nice flavor to the strawberry and cotton candy. Next up, it's the D20 and time to roll for drizzle. Nat 20 Player's Choice. Okay, so since we have a strawberry flavored cereal, I'm going to complement that and go with the plain old strawberry syrup. I was considering the marshmallow sauce, but I think that might have been too sweet. Okay, now it's the last ingredient. Time to roll for milk. 2 flavored milk. Please no Pop-Tarts creamer. Strawberry milk would be perfect. 3 blue milk. I'm not mad at that. We have only the finest blue milk from organically fed banthas on the moisture farms of Tatooine. But before we pour it, let's see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching tunes today. 28 Gangstar, Guru and Premier. Neither of them are originally from Brooklyn, but that is essentially their home base. First album dropped in 1989, but Hard to Earn, which came out in 1994, features one of my favorite Gangstar tracks, Mass Appeal. We lost Guru in 2010, but Gangstar will always be one of the greatest rap duos in hip hop. Let's hit this bowl with some blue milk and Moment of Truth, which I might add is also a great Gangstar track. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? I'm really digging these flavors. Strawberry cotton candy with coconut, strawberry syrup, and that sweet blue milk. Makes me think of a carnival or state fair with the cotton candy, the bright colors, and even the bowl, which looks like something you'd win at a carnival game. I'm gonna give this one 5 stars and we'll call it Miraculous Midway Mania. It's funny, that strawberry syrup combined with the blue milk and made it into purple milk. No complaints here, still tastes delicious. This streak of great bowls continues, hopefully it never stops. I'm gonna go add some Gangstar to the Roll for Cereal music playlists. You can find them at the link in my bio. Okay, I'll see you on Friday. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. We've had a streak of really good bowls the past couple weeks. Let's see if we can keep it going heading into the weekend. First up, Roll for Bowl. 17 Color Me Mine Bowl. You've seen it, you know it. I made this Fruit Loops inspired ceramic bowl at a local DIY pottery shop called Color Me Mine. Let's see what brand of cereal we'll be using today. 1 other brand. So we have 8 options from brands that aren't the big 4. 7 Cinnamon Mini Donut. So donut themed cereals have been a recurring trend over the years. There have been many different kinds, from glazed to pink to chocolate to powder to even other cinnamon versions, but this new Cinnamon Mini Donut cereal is a generic great value brand from Walmart. It's a tasty cinnamon sugar flavored cereal that reminds me of the Homer Cinnamon Donut cereal from back in the day. Okay, now let's roll for wild cards. 10 fresh fruit and 11 prize inside. So for new viewers, Prize Inside is a small cereal box containing cards, or prizes if you will. The cards feature a different original character that you'll probably recognize as references to cereal mascots. Each character gives us a task or unique ability. Just like prizes in cereal boxes, some cards are good, some bad, and some neutral. We'll draw one card and follow the instructions. The Cuckoo, it says blend all ingredients to make a cereal smoothie and must be used on this turn. Okay, guess we'll be drinking our cereal today. I'll put this Cuckoo card right over here, then put the rest of the prizes back inside to be drawn another day. So now it's back to this bowl of cereal, which I'll go ahead and transfer to the smoothie cup. We got some donuts overboard there. Get back in there with your donut friends. Moving on, now our second wild card was roll for fruit, so let's see what we get. 2 cherries. I have these Rainier cherries, which were created in 1952 by crossbreeding the Bing and the Van cherries. Let me slide these into the smoothie cup here. And next up, we have to roll for drizzle. 11, blueberry. Okay, blueberry syrup and cherries will add a nice fruit sweetness to the cinnamon cereal, though I wish it was in a bowl instead. Now let's roll for our milk base for this smoothie. 4, oat milk. I have some original oat milk from Planet Oat. I guess I could just add it since sogginess doesn't really matter, but let's stick to the routine and first see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching tunes. 25, Gravedale High. So this show premiered in 1990 on NBC as part of their Saturday morning cartoon block. It features Rick Moranis, who was coming off huge success from family films like Ghostbusters and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. The show revolves around the misadventures of Rick's character, a human teacher at a school for monsters. It was kinda entertaining, but it only lasted 13 episodes. Alright, let's pour some oat milk into this smoothie cup. We'll get the blade screwed on top, and then let's blend this bad boy up. I see the Cuckoo card just watching me there make this cereal smoothie. Okay, looks a little more liquidy than I was going for, but it's technically a smoothie. Moment of truth now, let's see if these ingredients come together to create a great a great smoothie of cereal. I gotta say, I don't love it. None of the ingredients are offensive or bad, and as a bowl of cereal it would probably be pretty good, but I'm not really into drinking my bowls of cereal. It just tastes like grainy, soggy, mushy cinnamon cereal. I'm gonna give this 2.5 stars, and I'll call it the smoothie operator. I don't know, that's the best I can come up with. I guess I have to finish this off now. I like a good fresh fruit smoothie, but this is just not something I'd ever try again. Thankfully, I won't have to, because once we use a Prize Inside card, we get rid of it never to be used again. Adios, Cuckoo card. Let me go check out this Gravedale High episode, maybe it's better than I remember. I'll see you on Tuesday. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Tuesday, let's get back to a normal non-smoothie bowl today. First up, roll for bowl. 9, Taz Bowl. This is a new bowl that looks like the beloved Taz from Looney Tunes. He's one of my favorite Looney Tunes characters right behind Daffy and Coyote. Alright, let's see what brand of cereal we'll be using today. 2, Post and Quaker. So now we have 8 options. Let's roll for cereal. 7, Berry Pebbles. We had this one already a couple weeks back with our Blackberry Bedrock 5-star bowl, so maybe this will be good luck. Pebbles cereal was first released by Post back in 1971. This new Berry Pebbles just came out this year and features Wilma, Betty, and Pebbles on the box. It's a generic berry flavor, not as good as Fruity Pebbles. Alright, now it's time to roll 2 D12s for wild card toppings. 5, roll for candy, and 9, roll for freeze-dried fruit. Let's do candy first and see what we get. 3, Red Hots. So I don't actually have Red Hots in the house right now, but I do have these Cinnamon Imperials, which are pretty close to the same thing as the cinnamon flavored Red Hot candies. These might be a little hard on the teeth. Okay, now let's roll for freeze-dried fruit. 1, pineapple. So fresh pineapple is kind of weird on most cereals, but freeze-dried pineapple might go well with the berry cereal and cinnamon candy. It's a little mishmash, but we'll see. Next up, we have to roll for drizzle. 19, honey. Honey's a very safe drizzle roll, and I'm happy anytime we roll it, just a nice extra sweetness to the bowl. Okay, last ingredient now, time to roll for milk. 5, almond milk. Still my favorite milk alternative. I get the unsweetened original kind, but before we pour it, we have to see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching cartoons today. 2, Huey Lewis and the News. Their early work was a little too new wave for my taste, but when Sports came out in '83, I think they really came into their own, commercially and artistically. The whole album has a clear, crisp sound and a new sheen of consummate professionalism that really gives the songs a big boost. He's been compared to Elvis Costello, but I think Huey has a far more bitter, cynical sense of humor. In '87, Huey released 4, their most accomplished album. I think their undisputed masterpiece is Hip to Be Square, a song so catchy most people probably don't listen to the lyrics, but they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of trends, it's also a personal statement about the band itself. Let's hit this bowl with some almond milk and moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? The honey and pineapple go fine with the berry pebbles, but the Red Hots are just way too hard. It's like chewing on actual pebbles, and that texture really hamstrings this from being enjoyable. I'm gonna give this one 3 stars, and I'm gonna call it Rocks and Stones. Gotta be careful not to chip a tooth here. I will say the Red Hots add a nice cinnamon flavor to the milk, which is a pleasant surprise. Alright, well, I'm gonna go listen to these classic Huey Lewis tapes on my 80s Walkman. I'll see you on Friday. Until next time, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Friday, let's get the weekend off to a good start. As always, first up, let's roll for bowl. 8. Sip a bowl. First time we've rolled this, it's just a plastic bowl with a straw built in to the side so you can easily drink up any milk left over after eating your cereal. Now let's see what brand of cereal we'll get today. 2. Post and Quaker. Same as last episode, let's hope we roll something besides Berry Pebbles. 4. Quisp. So Quisp was first released by Quaker Oats back in 1965 with Quisp the Alien as the mascot. It was discontinued in the late 70s and reintroduced in the 80s, 90s, and in 2001 was launched as the first internet cereal that you can only buy online. I've seen it back in stores since around 2012. The cereal is little corn saucers that taste a lot like Quaker's Cap'n Crunch, one of my favorite cereals. Alright, now let's roll for 2 wild card toppings. 1. Roll for savory, and 10. Roll for fresh fruit. First, let's get savory out of the way and hope for no crickets. 2. Seaweed. So I guess this is slightly better than crickets. I like seaweed salads and seaweed on sushi rolls, but it's definitely not a good topping for this cereal. Let's just cut up a few strips and add it to the bowl of Quisp. Now hopefully roll for fresh fruit will improve things. 3. Blueberries. Always happy with some fresh blueberries in my cereal. I have a handful left, and yes, I wash all my produce, don't worry. Now let's break out the D20 drizzle roll and see what we get. 1. Hot sauce. So I knew this day would come eventually. I love hot sauce, I have a few different kinds, but today I'm gonna go with this classic hot sauce from Hot Ones. It's got a nice flavor to it, but make no mistake, it will not pair well with this sweet cereal and seaweed. Alright, last ingredient now, time to roll for milk. 1. None. Of course, why not? Maybe this is good because the hot sauce won't have to mix with the milk. We gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching cartoons first. 9. The Flintstone Kids. So this Flintstone spin-off premiered on ABC's Saturday morning cartoon block in 1986. The series follows kid versions of the main characters from the Flintstones. It's kind of like a prequel, following Fred, Barney, Wilma, and Betty in their tween years and all the adventures they get into with their friends. And it always makes me think of the jingle from that Flintstones Kids vitamin commercial. This cartoon aired for 2 seasons. Alright, since there's no milk to pour, I guess we'll dig right in. Moment of truth, will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? What do you think? Come on, this is just painful. And people have said there aren't enough bad options in this series. There's really nothing to compliment here, and it's a shame because I really like Quisp cereal, but the seaweed and hot sauce and lack of milk just make this not enjoyable at all. I'm gonna give this one 0 stars, and we'll call it the inedible. I'm trying my best here to get as much down of this as possible. I've had like 10 spoonfuls. In the past, people complain when I don't finish a bowl, but I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen this time. I try hard not to waste food, but sometimes it's not worth it. Maybe I'll pick at this throughout the rest of the day. For now, off to watch some Flintstone Kids. Until I see you next time, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to another Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Tuesday. We're still going 2 days a week right now while we can. Let's get things started with Roll for Bowl. Uh-oh, it's 5, disposable. People really hate when I roll this bowl, and funny enough, I think it's probably the one I've rolled the most. Sorry, take it up with the dice gods. Next up, let's see what type of cereal we get today. Oops, I took out Buzz there with that dice throw. Let's try that again, shall we? 1. Other brands. Okay, so now we have 8 options that don't come from the 4 major cereal brands. 2. Carrot. So Carrot is an international cereal. It's produced in Israel. I was gifted this box, so I didn't have to buy it myself. If you've watched my videos, you know I hate Crave cereal, and Carrot is supposed to be similar to Crave with a crunchy shell and creamy chocolate hazelnut filling, but everyone says it's way better than Crave, so I guess we'll see. Next, we have to roll 2 D12s for wildcard toppings. 7. Roll for nuts, and 12. Player's choice. Always love player's choice, but first let's resolve the nuts roll and see what we get here. 4. Cashews. I don't think we've rolled cashews before. I like them, but not one of the better nuts to put on cereal. Maybe the crunchy texture will help. Next topping is my choice, and you know what? I'm gonna go with cookie dough bites. These were delicious back in episode 37 with the pebbles, and I think the rich cookie dough should go well with a chocolate hazelnut cereal. Alright, next up, it's time to roll for drizzle. 4, coffee. So I don't drink coffee, I don't like coffee. However, I don't mind sweet coffee flavored things like ice cream or this cereal syrup. And once again, it should be a nice addition to the chocolate hazelnut flavor of the cereal. Last ingredient now, time to roll for milk. 6, cow's milk. Okay, good roll. Cow's milk is always a safe roll. I'm happy with that. But before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes today or watching cartoons. 28, Big L, one of my favorite underrated rappers. L had been around making a name for himself in Harlem since the early 90s. He released his debut album Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous in 1995, and to me it's a classic. Big L was shot and killed on 139th Street in Harlem in 1999 before he could release his follow-up album. He was so talented and I feel like he was about to blow up more mainstream before he passed. Rest in power, L. Okay, let's hit this bowl with some milk, and now a moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? So I was very apprehensive about a cereal that's similar to Crave, but I have to admit that this carry-out cereal is pretty good. The outer shell stays crispy and it has a good amount of that chocolate hazelnut filling. The cookie dough bites and the coffee syrup go great with this stuff too. The weak link here is the cashews. They just drag everything down a bit. Still tasty though. I'm gonna give this one 4 stars and I'll call it Free Palestine. As you know, I hate Crave, but I guess it's not the concept of the cereal that I hate, just the poor execution from Kellogg's, because this Israeli cereal does a great job executing. Okay, I'm gonna go listen to some Big L, and you should too. Cereal Time playlist available at the link in the bio. Until I see you on Friday, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy Friday, let's get the weekend off to a good start. First up, roll for bowl. 7, clear to-go bowl. So this is a plastic to-go salad container I get when I order salad from a local restaurant. It works fine as a cereal bowl too. Next up, what brand of cereal will we get today? 3, Kellogg's. Okay, now we have 8 Kellogg's options. Let's roll for cereal. 8, Apple Jacks, Justin Timberlake's favorite cereal. First released in 1965 by Kellogg's, this is an apple cinnamon cereal that doesn't really taste like apples, but it does taste delicious. The current mascots are Bad Apple and Cinnamon. It used to be a Jamaican cinnamon stick named Cinnamon, but they changed him. And the cereal started as just orange-shaped O's until 1998, when they added green O's to the mix as well. Alright, now let's roll for wild card toppings. 5, roll for candy, and 6, roll for another cereal. Let's add another cereal first. Let's see which brand it's gonna be. 4, General Mills. We got 8 options from General Mills here. Let's roll for our second cereal. 7, Vanilla Spice Cheerios. Now there have been countless varieties of Cheerios over the years. This is a new version that has a hint of vanilla flavoring and some cinnamon in it. Not as good as the classic Honey Nut for me, but this vanilla cinnamon cereal should be a good complement to Apple Jacks. Let's get them mixed up here in the bowl. And now moving on, we have to roll for candy. 8, Pop Rocks. I have a few different flavors of Pop Rocks, but I'm gonna go with the green apple because we got Apple Jack cereal. Last time I used these, they started dissolving before I started eating, so this time I'm gonna add half now and half after the milk. Let's move on to our next ingredient now and roll for drizzle. 14, caramel or caramel. You can say it either way. Look, caramel syrup with Apple Jacks would be a perfect caramel apple cereal if they actually tasted like apples, but it should still be a pretty good combo. Last ingredient now, time to roll for milk. 2, flavored milk. Fingers crossed that it's not the Pop-Tarts creamer. 3, blue milk. So once again, we use only the freshest blue milk from organic fed Banthas on Tatooine. But before we pour it, let's see if we'll be listening to tunes today or watching cartoons. 30, Eminem. His first album, Infinite, dropped in 1996, but I didn't discover him until a year later when this Slim Shady EP came out. Then Dre signed him and he took the world by storm. The man is a skilled lyricist and storyteller and one of the best to ever do it. Alright, let's hit this bowl with some blue milk, and let's not forget to add the rest of those green apple Pop Rocks. You can hear them crackling there. Moment of truth, will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? It's a really tasty bowl. The cinnamon Apple Jacks and vanilla spice Cheerios pair well with the caramel syrup. The Pop Rocks don't add much flavor, but the popping and fizzy sensation makes eating this bowl a lot of fun. People say I give out too many 5-star bowls, so I'm gonna give this one 4.5 stars, and I'm gonna call it the Fizzy Apple Bantha. Almost perfect bowl, but I'm trying to be a bit more critical. General update now, this is the last episode of season 1, if you will. I'm off this Tuesday, but next Friday we'll start season 2 with a few structural and cosmetic changes, but the vibe will still stay the same. I'm gonna go listen to some classic Slim Shady. Until next time, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. We're kicking off season 2 today with a few format changes I previewed on Tuesday's video. Let's get things started with Roll for Bowl. 10 10. Our Name is Mud. You know this complimentary cereal bowl I got from Our Name is Mud Ceramic Company, and in case you missed it, we're pairing each bowl with its own unique spoon now. This is a handcrafted glass spoon that I think goes well with this artisan ceramic bowl. Next up, how many cereals are we mixing together today? 1. Okay, keeping it plain and simple to start off the new season. Let's see which of these 30 cereal options we get. 9. Icy cereal. You're probably familiar with Icies. They are frozen, slightly carbonated drinks you get at convenience stores and restaurants across America. 7-Eleven calls them Slurpees, but it's the same product, just licensed under a different name. This new Kellogg's cereal has a cherry and blue raspberry flavor, and it claims to cool your mouth as you eat it, but I've yet to feel that cooling sensation while eating this strong, artificially flavored cereal. Okay, time to roll 2 D20s for wild cards now. 4. Sour Patch Kids and 18 dried blueberries. Sour Patch Kids will be an interesting mix with Icy cereal. Have you ever added candy to your Icies during a late night Munchies run to the 7-Eleven? No? Just me? Next, we're going to add some freeze-dried blueberries. I have this pouch from Trader Joe's. At least we have a sweet and tart fruity theme going here. Let's see if Roll for Drizzle messes up the vibe. 13. Apple. Okay, could be worse. At least it's fruit. Oops, gave Sam a little boop on the head there. The apple puree syrup shouldn't clash flavor-wise with the rest of this bowl. Final ingredient now, let's roll for milk. 7. Almond milk. Always happy to roll almond milk. I'm a little worried the Sour Patch Kids may curdle the milk, but before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching cartoons today. 22. Busta Rhymes. So Busta started in Leaders of the New School and gained exposure for his verse on Tribe Called Quest's Scenario in 1991. After Leaders broke up, Busta went solo, finally releasing his debut album The Coming in 1996. It was a smash hit, and he's become a hip-hop icon over the years. If you've never seen him rock a show live, I recommend it. I think he's touring with 50 Cent this summer. Okay, time to hit this bowl with some almond milk and Moment of Truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? First things first, it's really hard to eat this with this glass spoon, so I'm definitely going to have to rethink my spoon options to pair with this bowl in the future. The Icy cereal has a strong artificial flavor, the dried blueberries and apple syrup are just okay, and the Sour Patch Kids stay surprisingly soft and chewy, but it's all just too sweet and like a bowl of candy. A little too chaotic for me. I'm going to give this one 2.5 stars, and we'll call it Convenience Store Chaos. And I was right about the citric acid of the Sour Patch Kids, definitely making the almond milk separate a little bit, not super appetizing. Okay, slow start to season 2, but hopefully on Tuesday we'll get a better combo. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. This is the second episode of what I'll call season 2. Let's get things started with Roll for Bowl. 7. Cereal Time Bowl. So this is a personalized bowl that General Mills sent me years ago for my YouTube channel. And since we're now pairing different spoons with bowls, I'm going to use the engraved Cereal Killer spoon that General Mills sent along with this bowl years ago. Okay, now let's see how many cereals we'll be using today. 2. Time to mix and match some flavors and see what we get. Let's see what our first cereal will be. 13. Corn Pops. I've rolled Corn Pops a couple times now, neither of which was a good bowl, so let's try to break that streak today. Corn Pops was released by Kellogg's back in 1950. It's sweetened, puffed up corn, and this original US version looks and tastes different than the Canadian knockoff Corn Puffs version. Let's see what cereal we'll be pairing with Corn Pops today. 2. Cinefuego Toast Crunch. We've rolled this before too. This is a limited edition spicy version of Cinnamon Toast Crunch that General Mills released last year through Walmart. You might still be able to find it online, but the supply is almost gone at this point. It tastes like big red gum. People either love it or hate it. I'm in the love it camp, and I think it'll go well with the sweet Corn Pops. Next up, time to roll 2 D20s for wild cards. 5 pretzel sticks and 5 more pretzel sticks. Double 5s, double pretzels today. So I'll use these lightly salted pretzel sticks and just do 2 handfuls instead of 1. They're a little big, but I'll break them up with a spoon while I eat them. Next up, let's roll the bigger D20 for drizzle. 19. Maple syrup. It's been a while since we've gotten this, just some sweet dark maple syrup from TJ's. This will add some more sweetness to the bowl. I really love maple syrup. Now on to the last ingredient. Let's roll for milk. 6. Oat milk. Okay, easy, unoffensive. I have some unsweetened oat milk from Planet Oat, but before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching cartoons today. 9. Garfield and Friends. I used to love this cartoon. I'm sure you know Garfield, the fun, lazy cat with a love for lasagna. The comic strip started back in 1978, but this Garfield and Friends cartoon, which also featured segments with his friends from U.S. Acres, another comic strip, it aired on CBS Saturday mornings from 1988 until 1994. Okay, time to add some oat milk to this bowl and Moment of Truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? I gotta admit my expectations were low for this stuff, but it's actually pretty incredible. You got the sweetness from the corn pops and maple syrup, the spicy heat from the Cinefuego Toast Crunch, and the salty, savory pretzel sticks. It's a really great combo. The oat milk adds the perfect creaminess. No complaints. I'm gonna give this one 5 stars, and I'm gonna call it Flaming Kettle Corn. Look, I'm as surprised as you, but that's what makes this series so fun, the unexpected, pleasant surprises. On a side note, if you happen to be going to San Diego Comic-Con this weekend, there will be a superhero cereal box panel on Thursday hosted by some veteran box collectors. If you're a cereal head, I definitely recommend checking it out. More info at this link. Off to watch some Garfield. I'll be back on Friday with a new video. Until then, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy San Diego Comic-Con weekend to those who celebrate. Let's keep season 2 rolling here. First up, roll for bowl. 8. Sip a bowl. Last time we rolled this bowl, we got no milk, leaving us nothing to sip up at the end. Let's hope that changes today. And to pair with our sip a bowl, we'll be using this Diggum straw spoon, so we have 2 ways to drink up the aftermilk. How many cereals do we mix together today? 1. Okay, no combos, keeping it simple. Let's find out what we get and roll for cereal. 12. Orange Dreamsicle. I've been excited to try this one. Orange Dreamsicle is one of the new summer trio of cereals from Multomeal. I made a box for it because I collect boxes, but it comes in those big Multomeal bags that you should be able to find at Walmart. It has an orange citrusy flavor which reminds me of OJ cereal from back in the day, and with milk it kind of tastes like those orange creamsicles. Next up, time to roll 2 D20s for wild cards. 11 walnuts and 14 toasted marshmallows. Not horrible. Let's start with the walnuts. They can be a good nut to add to cereal. I like to break them up in smaller pieces. And now for my favorite, let's toast some mini Jet Puff marshmallows.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
I don't like my marshmallows burnt, just a nice toasty golden brown. These will add a nice creamsicle flavor with that orange cereal. Okay, now let's roll for drizzle. 17 strawberry. At least it's a berry to go with the citrus flavor of the cereal, and yes, I'm aware that strawberries aren't technically berries, no need to tell me that in the comments. Last ingredient now, let's hope we actually get some milk this time. 8 cow's milk. Perfect. I think this is the best milk to pair with an orange cereal, but before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching cartoons today. 19. He-Man. So He-Man and the Masters of the Universe was a cartoon based on the He-Man action figure released by Mattel back in 1982. The cartoon came out in 83 and it was apparently the first syndicated show to be based on a toy. It's about Prince Adam who, with the Sword of Power, becomes He-Man and defends Eternia and Grayskull from the evil forces of Skeletor. There were like 130 episodes of this cartoon. They're making a live action movie for Netflix, but it will pair in comparison to the campy 1987 Masters of the Universe classic. Okay, time to hit this bowl with some milk and moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? This orange dreamsicle cereal is really tasty, and the toasty marshmallows and regular milk are a perfect fit. The walnuts add a little crunch but don't bring much to the table, and the strawberry syrup clashes just a bit with the rest of the ingredients. I'm gonna give it 4 stars and we'll call it Orange July Us. Like Orange Julius, and it's the month of July. Hey, I'm doing the best I can. As a writer, I'm still on strike, so cut me some slack. Finally, we get to use this sip bowl and drink the milk. It's a strawberry milk. I wish we would have gotten orange marmalade as a drizzle instead. We get to use this straw spoon too. Okay, I think instead of watching He-Man cartoons, I'm gonna go watch that 80s live action Masters of the Universe movie. Until next time, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy National Carousel Day to those who celebrate. Let's get things started as always with Roll for Bowl. 9. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Bowl. This is a fun green plastic bowl with Leo, Raph, Michael, and Don on the bowl. And of course we have a special turtle themed spoon to go with it. You can see that's one of the turtles there on the end of the spoon. Alright, let's see how many cereals we're going to be using today. 2. Chance to mix and match. Let's see which 2 cereals we'll be combining as we roll for cereal. 30. Player's Choice. Cowabunga, dudes. We got a Turtles bowl, so gotta pick the new Turtle cereal. The original Ralston one came out back in 1989. That was one of my favorites. Then General Mills released a mediocre one in 2016 to go along with that mediocre Turtles movie. But now, this year, General Mills has given us another one for the new animated movie. This version is apple cinnamon flavored corn disc with turtle themed marshmallows. Let's see what other cereal we'll be mixing with it. 21. Lucky Charms Minis. Not a bad combo for the turtle cereal. General Mills has released a few mini versions of their classic cereals. Unlike regular Lucky Charms made with oat flour, this minis version is tiny corn puffs and tiny Lucky Charms Marbits. Not as good as regular Lucky Charms, but not bad either. Let's get these 2 cereals combined together, and now it's time to roll for wild cards. 3 Szechuan, and 8 Pop Rocks. Interesting. So Szechuan peppercorns are used in Chinese cuisine, and they aren't actually peppers. They're more closely related to citrus. They're not spicy, but they produce a numbing and tingling sensation that's pretty unique. And funny enough, they seem like a good complement to Pop Rocks, which offer a slightly different fizzy and crackling sensation. I'm using strawberry ones this time, and we've learned you gotta pour half now and half after the milk. Alright, moving on, now let's roll for drizzle. 6 Pumpkin. Been a while since we rolled this one, but a sweet pumpkin puree syrup is a nice fall flavor that should go well with the apple cinnamon fall flavor of the turtle cereal. Last ingredient now, time to roll for milk. 8 Cow's milk. I feel like we keep getting this. Not complaining though, I have this 1% lactate milk, but before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes today or watching cartoons. 10 Public Enemy. Public Enemy was formed by Chuck D and Flava Flav in the mid-80s when they met at Long Island's Adelphi University. If you've never listened to PE, check out their 88 sophomore classic, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. Chuck D always speaks truth to power, and Public Enemy is one of the best and most influential rap groups of all time. Okay, let's hit this bowl with some milk and sprinkle on the remaining Pop Rocks. You can hear that crackling sound. Moment of truth, will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? So it's not terrible, but it's not as good as I was hoping either. It takes a bit for the Szechuan to get that tingling sensation, but it's a fun combo with the Pop Rocks. The apple cinnamon flavor of the turtle cereal is just kinda underwhelming. I think this one deserves only 3 stars, and I'll take the name from the new movie and call it Mutant Mayhem. That pumpkin syrup does add a nice flavor to the milk, and those Pop Rocks, they just keep crackling to the very last drop. Oh, I almost forgot. Do you have a favorite turtle? Mine has always been Donatello ever since I was a kid. As the song says, Donatello does machines. Alright, well, until I see you on Friday, stay crunchy. What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back to Roll for Cereal, a series where I let the dice help me craft a unique bowl of cereal from a mix of ingredients. Happy National Milk Chocolate Day and Happy Buffalo Soldiers Day to all those who celebrate. Let's get it started as always with Roll for Bowl. 7 Cheerios Bowl. I believe this is the 3rd time we've rolled this one. The last 2 have been good, so let's keep the streak going. And we're pairing bowls with spoons now, so I have this Cheerios themed spoon that fits perfectly. Next person who still asks me to roll for spoons is getting blocked, so think before you type. Alright, how many cereals are we going to use today? Just 1. Still haven't rolled a 3 cereal combo, but let's see what we get today when we roll for cereal. 29 Cap'n Crunch. Finally, I've been waiting forever to roll Cap'n Crunch, my favorite cereal of all time. This stuff was first released by Quaker back in 1963. They recently massacred my boy and changed the Cap'n design on the front of the box. He looks horrible now, so I'm continuing to use this old classic box. The flavor of this delicious cereal is hard to describe, kind of like a sweet buttery brown sugar flavor, and the pieces will cut the roof of your mouth, but it's still so good. Alright, next up, let's roll 2 D20s for wild cards. 20 Player's Choice and 10 Prize Inside. For those who haven't seen Prize Inside yet, it's a small cereal box containing cards, or prizes if you will. The cards feature a different original character that you'll probably recognize as references to classic cereal mascots. Each character gives us a task or a unique ability. Like prizes in cereal boxes, some are good and some are bad. We'll draw 1 card and follow the instructions. The toucan, it says we may re-roll 1 result and it can be used at any time. Okay, so we'll hold on to this toucan card, put him right over here by Toucan Sam, and we'll cash it in next time when I get a bad roll. Let's get the rest of these prizes back inside the box to be drawn another day. Now back to the bowl, and I still have Player's Choice as my second wild card, so I'm gonna pick Cereal Marbits. These Lucky Charms marshmallows should be a nice addition to Cap'n Crunch, a cereal that doesn't usually include marshmallows through its many varieties. Okay, next up, let's roll for Drizzle and hope we don't have to use that toucan card just yet. 12 Black Cherry. Not bad, I think I'll keep that result. I can work with this flavor. Black Cherry with Cap'n Crunch sounds fine to me. Now on to our last ingredient. Let's roll for milk. 3 Blue Milk. As I've mentioned, I get this blue milk from the banthas on the moisture farms of Tatooine. They're tough creatures to milk, but it's worth the hassle. But before we pour it, we gotta see if we'll be listening to tunes or watching cartoons today. 15 Kid and Play. This could have been a music choice too, but today we're talking about the 1990 NBC animated series based on the hip-hop duo of Kid and Play. I love the Kid and Play movie Class Act, but this cartoon was kinda silly and just featured Play cooking up get-rich-quick schemes and Kid trying to help him clean up his messes. The show only ran for about 13 episodes. Alright, let's hit this bowl of cereal with some blue milk, and now, moment of truth. Will these ingredients come together to create a great bowl of cereal? What's not to love here? The marshmallows and black cherry syrup add a little more sweetness and tartness to the Cap'n Crunch. I know people say I give out too many perfect scores, but hey, I like what I like, and with the Player's Choice and the toucan card today, it gave me a lot of control to craft a tasty bowl. So I'm giving credit where it's due and giving this bowl 5 stars. And I'm gonna call it I'm the Captain Now.
Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
The new Captain Crunch box design has him sporting 4 stripes instead of 3 now, which makes him an official captain, but he still looks kind of weird and I wish they'd change it back. As for that Toucan card, didn't have to use it today, so it carries over until I need to cash it in on a future episode. Alright, I'll see you on Tuesday. Until then, stay crunchy.